All right, welcome back. Just a little bit of time left here. Actually, we've still got almost an hour, I guess, a little over an hour. But we've got a lot of different properties I'm going to whiz through. Talk a little bit about, if you're at home listening and you got questions, feel free to email me, help@myrealyou. If you guys just raise your hand. The microphone's not working, suffering from massive impact trauma. That means I dropped the mofo. And so I don't know if the people at home are hearing, so I'll try and repeat the question if something happens. The most common type of property management I think you guys are going to get involved in is the residential real estate, all right? So we're talking about single-family residences, we're talking about doubles or duplex, whatever you want to call it, condos, and apartments, all right? That's what we're going to talk about right now. Residential real estate. With residential real estate comes more of the rules because it's like tenants have feelings and crap, you know what I mean? So you've got things like we can't work under distraint, meaning you can't self-help, you can't turn their electric off, yada, yada, you can't lock them out. Gee whiz, all right? So when you're dealing with your client and you're writing this management agreement and he says, okay, I'm going to give you 5 residential properties. What do you think? And you've got to do a market analysis. Now, here's where there's the softball and the baseball difference that we talked about. If someone said, I want to list my property with you, and you would go and do a market analysis, we'd call that a CMA. You guys could go to Matrix or, soon to be whatever it's going to be, Property Links or Matrix, or there's like 30 of them, and I think they're going to go down to 1 eventually. Point being is we have a system to do that, all right? When dealing with residential real estate that you lease out, that system kind of breaks down because here's the problem. We have 2 different types of markets, and a very astute, smart guy that worked for me a number of years ago came up with this, and he was a very, very brilliant kid. Matter of fact, he was pretty intimidating on how smart he was. Obviously he wasn't as smart as me, but I mean, he was still pretty good. And he had made the comment one day that there were 2 rental markets that you have to be aware of, and he was talking to one of the clients. And I guess I had intuitively known that, but I had never really vocally communicated that to another client before, as well as Adam did. And here's what he said. There are traditionally 2 markets here in Indianapolis. There's the market that makes it to the MLS, and then there is the black market of local wannabe investors that just put their sign in the yard. And they don't make it to the MLS because I have to approach this from a different angle. In the MLS, the history, as you guys know, to rent a property, I get paid 10% of first month's rent, seems to be the going rate. Even though I actually gave a little bit more than that, that seems to be the going rate. So if the average rent is $800 to $1,000, what's 10% of that? $100. How much effort am I going to put forth to earn $100 to write an offer, to do all that, when it's almost the exact same effort I would write on a $200,000 or $300,000 property? Exactly, Susan. Little to none. So because of that, most agents know. Therefore, they don't put it in the property. Don't put it in the MLS. So what happens is that those low-end rentals do not show up on the MLS, all right? All you get are the ones that would make an agent's worthwhile to work. So $1,100, $1,200, $1,400, $1,700. You're not missing the 3 times that. That is virtually the tip of the iceberg, because you probably have dozens that are in that $600, $700, $800 range that nobody will take as a listing because there's no commission there. All right. So what ends up happening is you get a false and probably high sense of rental market rate if you only look at the one market, i.e. the MLS market. So typically what you need to do is when you're trying to do a market analysis, you need to drive the area, look at all of the handmade or for sale by owner or for lease by owner signs. See, for sale by owner is a FSBO, FLEBO, FLBO, a FALBO, and call them. How much is your property renting for? $750. Okay, thank you very much. How much is your property? $725. How much is your property? And lo and behold, you look in the MLS, and the only two that are in there are $950 and $1,000. That's because you got that partially, artificially evaluated or elevated property. So take that into consideration that one of the best ways to do that residential market analysis is to actually get out and beat the bushes in what would be your target market range. Also, that's going to help you talk about the availability of space. If you get in there and you find everything's at 600 and there are probably a large vacancy in that area, you got to talk to your client. Hey, what the hell's going on? You know, is that a bad neighborhood? If it is, and you're not going to get there's 20% vacancy at $600 and you want to lease at $700, I understand you think your property may be good, but that neighborhood is going to absorb those 600 properties before they're going to probably absorb your 700. So it's going to help you out. Now, once again, residential property, they're going to get a lot more tenant relation, a lot more one-on-one because of the way we manage properties in residential. Once again, the commercial world, way different. Way different way to manage property. Matter of fact, I saw my landlord, Randy, 2 days ago, coincidentally, by matter of fact, but I have not seen him on the property in probably 7 months. Maintaining the apartment building, we've got that issue still. Single family, obviously apartment buildings have economies of scale. All the reports that we had talked about, and once again, staffing needs. These are all very common issues in the residential world. All right, I don't want to blow through this out of courtesy to you guys, but I do understand that we've got 3 or 4 more topics to get to and we're running close on time. So if you have any questions, send me an email at help@myrealu. And we have touched on the majority of these before or since then. There's the managing the tenant. We've talked about tenant relations, maintaining, and I'm telling you right now, maintenance. You still have to have a schedule. Even though you're still local, you may want to say, hey, maybe on Mondays we do mop the first floor. On Tuesdays we sweep the back porch. Okay? So the same reports are going to happen no matter what you do. You've got the gross operating, you've got expenses. We can do cash flow. We can do all of those reports that we've talked about, those financial sides before. Staffing's still the same issue. All right?